Joining me again to talk things political is Lord Jeffrey Archer, former British politician, former deputy chairman of Britain's Conservative Party, and now author of 44 books, including the latest, the thriller called Eye for an Eye, out now. Jeffrey Archer, what a pleasure to see you again. We said we'd have a talk about the election closer to the day, that is now. Explain this hysteria over Donald Trump.
Well, I'm fascinated to hear what you had to say, Andrew, because my own view is quite simply that this goes back to Biden. He really should have resigned a lot earlier, and there should have been a proper competition for the right person to lead the Democratic Party. The result has been that the Democratic Party is now in real trouble. And I have been saying all along that Trump will win, but I am now absolutely convinced that the Democrats can't win.
I think this is why, I think you're right, that she's so inadequate a candidate. She's got absolutely nothing to say for herself. She has a record she can't defend and can't explain, and no policies that would be different from anything Biden's done. That this is all she's got, this hysteria, this manufactured hysteria that Trump will, admire as Hitler and probably round up domestic foes and stick them into camps, even politicians. Do you think that's it? And do you think it could possibly work? Because I've got to tell you, Jeffrey Archer, a lot of journalists, more fool them, are buying it.
Well, the amazing thing is that Trump's campaign has gone on in its own style, as he always does. And although many journalists have predicted he'd trip himself up, the truth is he hasn't. Because when I saw the poll yesterday from CNN that they were 47% each, I knew it was all over, because Mrs. Clinton was leading Trump by 3 points. But in the key states, Trump won them and became the president. And once those two are equal, I don't see that the Democrats are still in the race. And my prediction now is that he might even win comfortably.
Yes, I'm seeing some polls like that. I mean, we don't want to get too ahead of ourselves because voluntary voting, blah, blah, maybe the polls have overcorrected from the anti-Trump bias. We don't know, but I suspect you are absolutely correct. Now, I have to say, there was something about the rally today that the critics will say, this was the most Nazi-like thing he did. See, we were right. I want to get your take on this. Trump did run a video that was more than... Well, I know. But he ran a video that was
ridiculous, Andrew. I saw your video. And thought it was ridiculous. He lives in New York. Madison Square Garden has its own special relationship with the people of New York. And that was just going over the top. And if you go that far over the top, it says one thing only: desperation.
Yes, and I do. And I think that's exactly what voters will then react negatively to. You can't look desperate because then people shy away from you. They don't rally to you, they go away from you. Now, but what he did do in that rally was run a 2-minute video of the criminals that Joe Biden and Kamala Harris had let in over the last 4 years, with 10 million other illegal immigrants. Here is some of that video being played in front of the audience at Madison Square Gardens.
More than 13,000 illegal immigrants convicted of murder have been released into the United States.
My 20-year-old daughter, Kayla Hamilton, was murdered in her own room. Kayla's murderer was apprehended by Border Patrol crossing illegally into the U.S.
Kayla's murderer had been improperly released into the United States.
Jeffrey Archer, is it in fact evil for politicians to point out some of the consequences of not keeping a strong border, not keeping out illegal immigrants? Because there's going to be a lot of people saying, oh, Donald Trump, you're just stirring up fear, demonising foreigners, exactly Nazi-like.
No, one has to look at the polls very seriously and see that the number one issue in the United States at the moment is the economy, 49%. The second most important issue is immigration, 19%. The third most important is abortion, 13%. I talked to Senator Bradley, a very distinguished Democrat, over the weekend, and he told me the immigration line wasn't hitting. And the other big thing he pointed out was that the Democrats were going for the young black vote. And he was saying, which I found fascinating, that the young black vote is fascinated by celebrity, number one, and won't want a woman, number two. I hadn't considered either of those, but we're in strange times.
Yes, well, Donald, they both got their celebrities. Kamala Harris has got the actors and singers, and it seems that Donald Trump has got tech billionaire Elon Musk, who's got Dr. Phil today at the rally, and Hulk Hogan. So I think we know where all that's going.
No, I wasn't thinking of that, Andrew. No, Andrew, I wasn't thinking of that. I was thinking that young black people consider Trump to be a celebrity, and that will be
Trump himself.
They vote for them.
Oh, that is interesting. Well, in that case, it's all over in terms of that particular part of the vote. And of course, the black male vote has been a problem for Kamala Harris. Illegal immigration, though, just broadly, Jeffrey Archer, I have been so struck how that's become an issue right across the West, including in countries that used to be a byword for tolerance and liberalism, Sweden, certainly in Holland, in America, Canada. Justin Trudeau even said the other day, we've got to cut back on immigration. What is it with the political class of the West that it has lost control of this issue for so long?
It's a fascinating question, and I think the answer is, looking at it from the view of an 84-year-old ex-politician, it's strictly the numbers, Andrew. They've got out of control, and they go up every single year. And that is what has worried the whole of Europe, not just England. And I can assure you that the Italians, who are now turning the boats back, are leading the way. Though if I would dare to say, having watched Australia over many years, you have had a very firm immigration policy, which perhaps we should have taken more notice of.